Ever stop to wonder where your nightly dose of breaking news really comes from? Millions of us, night after night, sit glued to our screens, convinced we're getting the unvarnished truth. But behind those dazzling studio lights and anchors with hair so perfect it could survive a cyclone, there's a tangled web of power plays, whispered deals, and let's be honest, more hidden agendas than a politician's diary. Who gets to decide which stories are breaking and which ones are quietly swept under the rug? In the chaos of editorial rooms, producers and editors wage daily battles. Not for truth, but for the juiciest headline, the safest controversy, and the story least likely to upset their sponsors, or, heaven forbid, the powers that be. In today's India, finding the truth behind the headlines is like searching for Wi-Fi in a remote village. Technically possible, but good luck. With 1,000 voices shouting over each other, facts are twisted, buried, or dressed up in so much drama you'd think you were watching a soap opera, not the news. Once upon a time, the news was a mighty sword, slicing through lies and holding the powerful to account. Now, that sword's been traded for a feather duster, soft, safe, and perfect for tickling the egos of those in charge. The bold questions and fearless investigations of yesteryear, about as rare as a politician's tax return. This essay is about that not-so-magical transformation. It's the story of how Indian news went from roaring lion to obedient house pet, wagging its tail for treats and approval. The media, once a watchdog with a bark that could shake the corridors of power, now sits quietly in the lap of those with the fattest wallets. The tough questions? Left at the door? The stories that ruffle feathers? Replaced by puff pieces and polite applause. And who pays the price for this transformation? You, me, and every citizen who still believes that news should mean something. When the media trades its spine for a shiny new leash, democracy limps and the rest of us are left squinting in the dark. But don't despair just yet. This is also about what we can do to drag the truth back into the spotlight. If we demand better, support real journalism, and refuse to settle for lapdog news, maybe, just maybe, we'll get a media that bites when it needs to, and finally serves the people, not the powerful. Once upon a time, Indian journalists were the fearless lions of the newsroom jungle, roaring with courage and integrity. They treated journalism like a sacred duty, bravely holding up a mirror to society, even if the reflection was less than flattering. Armed with tough questions and sharper pens, they poked the powerful, dug up inconvenient truths, and sometimes risked more than just their press passes. Fast forward to today, and that spirit of fearless journalism. Well, it's gone missing, maybe hiding in an abandoned cinema hall. Now, many news channels seem more interested in winning Best Lapdog awards than actually holding the powerful to account. Hard-hitting questions have been swapped for applause, and anchors now practice the ancient art of flattery on live TV. Meanwhile, uncomfortable truths are buried deeper than a Bollywood plot twist under mountains of sensationalized headlines. The line between news and entertainment? Blurred beyond recognition, leaving viewers to wonder if they're watching the news or the latest soap opera. Ever wondered why Indian news sometimes feels more like a blockbuster drama than journalism? Let's pull back the curtain and expose the real puppeteers behind the scenes. The transformation of Indian media isn't just about fancy gadgets or fickle viewers. It's a high-stakes game of power, influence, and of course, who gets to hold the remote. At the center of this circus is a burning question. Who actually owns the megaphone blaring into our living rooms? Ownership isn't just a boring legal detail. It's the magic wand that decides which stories get the spotlight and which ones are shoved under the rug. These days, the biggest news empires are run by business tycoons and power brokers, many of whom are on a first-name basis with the folks running the country. Coincidence? Hardly. When the same hands control both the headlines and the handshakes, you can bet the plot thickens. These media overlords aren't just in it for the ratings. They've got a vested interest in keeping things just the way they like it. Their influence seeps into every editorial meeting, shaping not just what's reported, but how it's spun. Objectivity? That's so last season. When media barons and political bigwigs are practically swapping friendship bracelets, the line between journalism and government PR becomes as blurry as a pirated cable signal. Who needs propaganda when you've got primetime news? Journalists in this environment, they're walking a tightrope. One wrong move, and it's goodbye career. Hello creative differences. The pressure to toe the line is real, whether it's a gentle nudge or a not-so-subtle shove. The result? Editorial independence gets tossed out the window, public trust takes a nosedive, and the media's role as the people's watchdog is reduced to a lapdog begging for scraps. Welcome to the greatest show on earth. Just don't expect the truth to take center stage. Welcome to the grand circus of Indian media, where distraction isn't just a trend, it's practically an Olympic sport. Forget about boring topics like poverty, unemployment, healthcare, or education. Who needs those when you can have endless drama? Instead, our screens are flooded with breaking news about celebrity breakups, movie releases, and the latest exclusive on who wore what at which party. And let's not forget the ever-reliable communal tension segment, because nothing says news like a little manufactured outrage. These distractions aren't just random, they're a masterclass in misdirection, worthy of a magician's applause. While the real issues quietly gather dust, we're kept busy chasing shadows, arguing over hashtags, and living in a climate of fear and division, brought to you by your favorite news channel. So while we passionately debate the color of a celebrity's outfit, the real problems, those that actually affect our lives, are left to rot in the background. Because in the end, who needs critical thinking or informed debate when you have 24/7 sensationalism? So what happens to those brave souls, journalists and citizens, who dare to poke the bear and speak truth to power in India? Spoiler alert, it's not a Bollywood happy ending. Instead, they're treated to a buffet of intimidation, harassment, and, if they're really lucky, violence. Because nothing says democracy like a little strong-arming, right? Criticize the government. Congratulations, you've just won the title of anti-national. Enjoy your prize, online trolling, legal headaches, and a side of threats to your safety. Who needs enemies when you have patriotism weaponized? The space for dissent is shrinking faster than a politician's memory after elections, and the cost of speaking out? Let's just say it's not covered by your health insurance. The result? A nationwide game of who can stay silent the longest, as people zip their lips, terrified of the consequences. Free speech, but make it a whisper. And when dissent is gagged, the powerful get a free pass, and the voiceless, well, they just stay voiceless. Welcome to the new normal, where silence isn't golden, it's mandatory. Well, if you've made it this far, congratulations. You've survived the roller coaster ride through India's media circus. Yes, the picture I've painted is darker than a power cut in Delhi, but don't reach for the panic button just yet. History loves a good plot twist, and change has a habit of showing up when you least expect it, usually after the interval, with a dramatic background score. The challenges we face? Oh, they're not just obstacles, they're invitations to the greatest reality show of all, democracy in action. The future of truth in India? Spoiler alert, it's not in the hands of TV anchors with louder mics, but in ours, the citizens. We're not just couch potatoes soaking up the latest breaking news. We're the directors, the script writers, and yes, sometimes the fact checkers of this national drama. Our voices, our choices, and our WhatsApp forwards can actually change the script. Let's not forget, the media is supposed to serve us, not the other way around. We're not here to worship news anchors as demigods or treat headlines as holy scripture. If the media starts acting like a PR agency for the powerful, it's our job to call them out, loudly and preferably with memes. We hold the remote control, folks. We can choose what to watch, who to follow, and which news channel to mute during dinner. Every subscription, every share, every heated family WhatsApp debate about fake news is a tiny revolution. By being picky with our media diet, we can force the news to go on a credibility detox. Support the real heroes, independent journalists and media outlets who risk more than just bad hair days to bring us the truth. These folks aren't in it for the TRPs, they're in it for the truth, often dodging more obstacles than a Mumbai auto rickshaw. Our support is their fuel. Be a little suspicious of everything you read. Headlines are designed to grab eyeballs, not always to inform. Dig deeper, hunt for context. And remember, if it sounds too dramatic to be true, it probably belongs in a soap opera, not a newspaper. Question everything. Cross-check, double-check, and if you have time, triple-check. Don't let sensationalism hijack your common sense. The truth is like a Bollywood plot. Complicated, layered, and rarely what it seems at first glance. Verify before you viral. And here's a wild idea. Talk to people who disagree with you. Yes, even that uncle who thinks every problem started in 1947. Healthy debate and respectful arguments are the secret sauce of democracy. By listening, we might just learn something, or at least get better at arguing. A thriving democracy isn't built on echo chambers and viral outrage. It's built on informed debate, open minds, and the occasional fact check. The truth matters, unless you prefer your news with a side of fiction. The truth is the secret ingredient for a healthy democracy, a just society, and a future where we can all do more than just survive. We can actually thrive. When we value truth, we build a nation where everyone gets a seat at the table, not just the loudest voices. So let's reclaim the narrative, demand accountability, and remind the news that its job isn't to entertain or distract, but to inform, empower, and keep the powerful sweating. The future of truth isn't a distant dream, it's a group project. And guess what? We're all on the team. And now, for the most important act of democracy you can perform today. No, not voting, but hitting that like button, sharing this video with your WhatsApp group, even the one with your conspiracy-loving uncle, and subscribing for more truth bombs. Because if you don't, somewhere a news anchor gets a little bit louder. Don't let that happen. Like, share, subscribe, and let's keep the truth trending, not just the hashtags.